I'm standing in front of 30 people at my wife's baby shower, laptop open, PowerPoint ready. The DNA test results are in my back pocket. Everyone thinks I'm about to give a sweet speech about our miracle baby after 3 years of infertility treatments. They have no idea this baby isn't mine. For 3 years, I watched my wife cry every month when her period came. I held her through every negative pregnancy test, every failed IVF cycle, every hormone injection that made her sick. I spent our life savings on fertility treatments while she squeezed my hand and said we'd get through this together. The whole time, she was King my brother. I found out 2 weeks ago. Not from catching them together or finding suspicious texts. From a routine genetic screening that showed the baby couldn't possibly be mine. Different blood type. Impossible combination of genes. The doctor was confused when he called with the results. I wasn't. The timeline made perfect sense once I stopped being blind. The pregnancy happened right after our last failed IVF cycle, when I was traveling for work more, when she started having girls' nights with my sister-in-law. When my brother Mike started coming around more often, being unusually supportive about our fertility struggles. Asking detailed questions about my work schedule. Being the perfect concerned brother-in-law. She told me she was pregnant on a Tuesday. I remember because I'd just gotten home from a business trip, and she was glowing in a way I hadn't seen in years. She said it was a miracle, that maybe all the stress of trying so hard had been the problem. That now we could finally relax and be happy. I cried. Actually fucking cried with joy while she hugged me, knowing it wasn't mine. The worst part was how good she was at pretending. She'd panic when I suggested genetic testing, saying she didn't want to risk the baby's health with unnecessary procedures. She'd get emotional when I talked about how our child would have my eyes or my stubborn streak. She'd let me feel the baby kick and tell me how lucky our kid was to have me as a father. My brother was even worse. He'd come to doctor's appointments when I couldn't make it, saying he wanted to support us. He'd put his hand on her belly at family dinners and joke about being the favorite uncle. He'd ask me how I was handling the stress of becoming a dad, like he gave a shit about my mental health while he was destroying my life. I planned this presentation for 2 weeks. Every photo, every timeline, every piece of evidence laid out like a closing argument. The fertility clinic records showing when we were trying. The work travel receipts showing when I was gone. The security footage from Mike's apartment building showing her visiting on days she claimed to be at yoga. The DNA results that prove this baby shares genetic markers with my brother, not me. She's sitting in the front row wearing the pink dress I bought her, surrounded by gifts for a baby that isn't mine. My mother is next to her, cooing about her first grandchild. Mike is standing by the food table, probably wondering why I insisted on giving a speech instead of just letting people eat cake and go home. I click to the first slide. It's a photo of me and Emma on our wedding day, looking happy and hopeful. The room goes quiet. She's smiling at me like she thinks this is going to be sweet. 5 years ago, I married the woman of my dreams. 3 years ago, we decided to start a family. Her face is starting to change. She knows my voice. She knows when something's wrong. What we discovered was that I have fertility issues that make natural conception extremely difficult. So we tried everything. IVF, hormone treatments, genetic counseling. We spent $60,000 trying to have a baby together. Mike has stopped eating. He's staring at me now, and I can see the exact moment he realizes what's happening. Then, 6 months ago, Emma told me she was pregnant. A miracle, she said. After all our struggles, nature had finally worked in our favor. I clicked to the next slide. It's the DNA test results, blown up large enough for everyone to read. The room is dead silent now. Emma has gone completely white. She's shaking her head like she can deny what's right there in black and white. Except this baby isn't mine. According to genetic testing, this child is biologically impossible to be mine. But it is possible for it to belong to someone else in this room. I look directly at my brother. He's backing toward the door like he's going to run. Someone who had access to our home. Someone who knew my travel schedule. Someone Emma trusted enough to confide in about our fertility struggles. My mother stands up. What are you saying? I'm saying my wife has been having an affair with my brother for at least 6 months, and the baby we're all here to celebrate isn't mine. Emma finally finds her voice. You're insane. You're having some kind of breakdown. But Mike is already gone. He walked out the back door while I was talking. That tells everyone in this room everything they need to know. The room exploded after Mike left. Emma tried to deny everything until I showed the security footage of her entering his building. My mother screamed at both of them. My dad just sat there like someone had died. Half the guests left immediately, too uncomfortable to stay for the aftermath of a marriage imploding in real time. Emma followed me home, begging me to listen. She said it only happened a few times. That she was vulnerable after our last failed IVF cycle. That Mike was there for her when I was traveling, and one thing led to another. She swore she didn't plan it, didn't mean for it to happen, didn't know the baby was his until I showed her the DNA results. All lies. I found hotel receipts going back 8 months. Text messages she thought she'd deleted. Photos of them together that she'd hidden in a cloud account I wasn't supposed to know about. This wasn't a moment of weakness or a mistake born from grief. This was a calculated affair that started before our last treatment cycle even failed. The divorce papers were filed within a week. She tried to fight it, claiming temporary insanity from hormone treatments, but the evidence was overwhelming. My lawyer said it was the most clear-cut adultery case he'd handled in 20 years. She got nothing. The house, the savings, the car, all mine. Hard to claim half of marital assets when you've been committing fraud. Mike disappeared completely. Quit his job, broke his lease, moved across the country like I was going to hunt him down. He sent one text apologizing and saying he'd pay child support, but Emma would have to handle everything else alone. The man who got her pregnant abandoned her the second the truth came out. Turns out fucking your brother's wife is exciting until there are actual consequences. The baby was born 2 months after our divorce was finalized. Emma named him James, after our father. She had the audacity to give my brother's bastard child our family name. She sent me photos from the hospital like I might want to see what my replacement looked like. I deleted them without opening them. She tried to stay in town at first, but the shame was too much. Everyone knew what she'd done. The baby shower video went viral in our social circle. Someone had recorded my presentation and shared it. She couldn't go to the grocery store without people staring. Her own friends stopped talking to her. Her family was embarrassed. She moved back to her hometown when the baby was 6 months old. My mother tried to maintain a relationship with her grandson for a while, but it was too painful. Every time she looked at him, she saw the destruction of our family. She saw her son's betrayal and her daughter-in-law's lies. She stopped visiting after Emma asked her to babysit so she could go on dates. The fertility issues that destroyed my marriage became irrelevant 6 months later when I met Sarah, a nurse who understood medical complications without pity or judgment. We've been together 2 years now. She's pregnant with twins, confirmed mine through genetic testing we did for fun, just to be absolutely sure. Sometimes healing means starting completely over with someone who chooses you every day. I still get updates about Emma through mutual acquaintances. She's a single mother working 2 jobs to afford her studio apartment. The child support Mike sends sporadically isn't enough to live on. She gained 60 pounds during pregnancy and never lost it. She's been on dating apps for a year but can't find anyone willing to date a woman with that much baggage and that kind of reputation. Mike never came back. Never met his son. Never apologized to me or our parents. He sent Emma money for the first year, then that stopped too. She posted on Facebook asking if anyone knew how to contact him, saying their son deserved to know his father. Nobody responded. The worst part for her isn't the poverty or the loneliness or even raising a child alone. It's knowing that she traded a marriage with a man who loved her unconditionally for an affair with a man who discarded her the moment it became inconvenient. She threw away financial security, family support, and social standing for someone who couldn't even stay in the same state once he got caught. She ruined 3 lives for 6 months of sneaking around with a man who turned out to be exactly as worthless as his actions suggested. Her son will grow up fatherless because both the men in his life were destroyed by his existence, me by betrayal, Mike by cowardice. I hope every woman considering an affair sees what happened to Emma. You don't just lose your husband when you cheat, you lose everything he provided, everyone who loved you both, and usually the man you cheated with. Betrayal might feel thrilling in secret hotel rooms, but it looks pretty fucking pathetic at a baby shower with DNA evidence projected on the wall. The affair partner never stays. But the consequences last forever.